She lost everything: her child, her love, and her hope. But what Anna didn't know was that her son had never really been gone. A cunning plan was set in motion, and fate, ever whimsical, placed mother and son side by side, without either knowing the truth. Now, years later, a secret is about to be revealed, and when it does, nothing will ever be the same again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories. Anna had always dreamed of a peaceful, love-filled life, but reality had been cruel. Working as a maid and nanny at Lucas and Sofia's mansion, she knew firsthand the stark divide between their worlds, even under the same roof. Sofia was cold and arrogant. Though never overtly hostile toward Anna, she made it clear that Anna was nothing more than a servant. Lucas, on the other hand, was polite but distant, drowning in the discontent of a crumbling marriage. They stayed together out of convenience, and it was obvious their relationship was hanging by a thread. But everything changed when Sofia announced her supposed pregnancy. For Lucas, the news was a surprise, almost like an anchor preventing him from letting the marriage sink completely. Even though he no longer felt love for Sofia, the arrival of a child made him rethink the idea of leaving her. Perhaps a baby could rekindle something between them. Lucas threw himself into supporting Sofia throughout the pregnancy, accompanying her to doctor's appointments and preparing the nursery. What he didn't know was that it was all a carefully constructed lie, masterminded by Sofia, who was determined to keep up appearances and prevent their marriage from falling apart. At the same time, Anna discovered she was also pregnant, the result of a tumultuous relationship that was already showing signs of wear. When she shared the news, she hoped for support and happiness, but his response shattered her. He accused her of being reckless and made it clear he wanted no part of it. "I'm not raising a child with you," he said coldly, abandoning her just when she needed him most. With no other options, Anna decided to face the situation alone, determined to give her baby a good life, even without the father's help. As Anna's pregnancy progressed, she continued working for Lucas and Sofia, doing her best to maintain appearances and fulfill her duties. Meanwhile, Sofia kept feeding Lucas a false narrative of happiness with her fake pregnancy. Time passed, and by coincidence or cruel irony, Anna's due date and Sofia's supposed due date aligned. Sofia's ambition knew no bounds, and she seized the opportunity to execute her dark plan. On the day they both went to the hospital, Anna arrived in labor, anxious and scared, but full of hope that everything would be okay. However, she was met with cold indifference by the doctor, a man already involved in Sofia's scheme. The hours dragged on, and finally, Anna's baby was born. She waited for the first cry, but the silence in the room was unbearable. The doctor approached with a stern look. "I'm sorry, Anna, your baby didn't make it," he announced without a trace of emotion. Anna's world collapsed. The pain was indescribable. She sobbed uncontrollably, unable to accept what was happening. She tried to hold her baby's body, but the doctor refused, saying it was better if she didn't see it. Alone and devastated, Anna didn't have the strength to fight. News of the death soon reached her ex-boyfriend, who, instead of offering comfort, blamed her for the loss. "This is all your fault," he said before turning his back on her for good. While Anna drowned in sorrow, on the other side of the hospital, Sofia cradled little Henrique in her arms. The baby was healthy, perfect, and only the doctor knew the truth. He was actually Anna's son. Sofia had achieved what she wanted, an heir to keep her marriage intact and secure her social standing. The plan had gone off without a hitch, and she left the hospital as the proud mother everyone expected her to be. Anna, however, returned to the mansion carrying a pain she had never imagined. She had lost her child and her boyfriend in the same period, and now all she could do was move on, or at least try. She threw herself into her work, using her routine to fill the emptiness in her heart. And so, time passed, like a river that flows but carries with it the weight of memories and loss. About a year later, fate dealt Anna another blow. Her ex-boyfriend died in a car accident. Though he had abandoned and hurt her deeply, the news stirred conflicting emotions. A part of her still loved him, or perhaps loved the idea of the life they never got to have. His death seemed to close a chapter, but the wounds from losing her baby remained open, silently bleeding each day. At the mansion, Sofia carried on as if nothing had happened. Henrique grew healthy and loved by Lucas, who never suspected anything. The boy brought an unexpected joy to the household, and his presence seemed to be the only thing holding Lucas and Sofia together. Despite that, their marriage was a mere facade. Lucas didn't love Sofia and distanced himself from her more and more each day. Anna stayed in the house, caring for Henrique with a tenderness even she couldn't fully understand. It was as if the love she had lost found a new outlet through the boy. He adored her, and the bond between them was clear to anyone who saw them together. Lucas, in turn, began to notice Anna's devotion and grew to admire her deeply. Their friendship blossomed, and soon an emotional connection formed, though both knew they couldn't cross that line. Time didn't heal the wounds, but the daily care of Henrique brought Anna a peace she never thought she'd feel again. Deep down, she knew there was something special about the boy, though she didn't yet know why. Meanwhile, Lucas found himself increasingly drawn to Anna. She had a kindness and strength he found nowhere else, least of all in Sofia. But he was a man of principles and would never betray his wife, no matter how unhappy he was. And so, life went on, with each character wrestling with their own pain and dilemmas, unaware that fate had one more twist in store. A hidden truth was about to come to light, and when it did, nothing would ever be the same. Months passed, and life at the Montenegro mansion seemed to follow a normal course, at least on the surface. Sofia continued playing the role of a devoted mother, basking in the social admiration her new status brought her. Her friends and family saw her as a fulfilled woman, blessed with a seemingly solid marriage and a perfect child. The plan she had crafted to save her marriage appeared to be working. Lucas, though emotionally distant, was dedicated to Henrique and kept up appearances. He wanted to be a good father, and despite the absence of love for Sofia, his sense of duty kept him with the family. Henrique grew up healthy and charming, and it was impossible not to be fond of him. His infectious joy filled the house, and in some ways he mended the gaps that existed within it. Although dissatisfied in his marriage, Lucas found solace in being a father, spending long hours playing and talking with the boy. Sofia, content with the illusion she had created, felt she had secured her place and consolidated her marriage, at least for now. No one suspected the truth about Henrique's origins, not even Lucas, who lived unaware of the falsehood underpinning his family. Meanwhile, Anna continued working at the mansion as a nanny and maid. Every day, she cared for Henrique with a love and dedication that came from deep within her heart. The boy enchanted her, and their bond was strong and natural. There was something about Henrique that made Anna forget, if only for moments, the pain of losing her own child. Each smile, hug, and kind word from him filled her heart with a strange peace, as if he were the remedy for all the wounds life had inflicted upon her. Over time, the closeness between Anna and Lucas grew in unexpected ways. Lucas admired the way Anna cared for Henrique and felt a deep respect for her. There was a quiet strength and genuine sweetness in her that he couldn't find in anyone else, least of all in Sofia. Their conversations became more frequent, and gradually, a sincere friendship blossomed. Lucas felt at ease around Anna, as if she were the only person who truly understood him. Anna, in turn, found a comforting companionship in Lucas. The pain of losing her baby and being abandoned by her boyfriend still lingered, but being near Lucas and Henrique made that sadness a little lighter. A new feeling began to grow between them, but both knew they couldn't cross that line. Lucas was still married, and despite his unhappiness, he would never betray Sofia. Anna, for her part, respected his situation and didn't want to cause any problems. As Lucas and Anna grew closer, Sofia began to notice the change in her husband's behavior. While he remained attentive to Henrique, there was a growing coldness in his interactions with her. Sofia could see the connection between Lucas and Anna strengthening, and it unsettled her. Although she trusted in the facade of her marriage, the fear of losing control gnawed at her. She felt the need to intensify her efforts to keep Lucas by her side, even though she knew he was drifting further away. As the months went by, the routine at the mansion continued. Henrique was now 5 years old, and his charming personality won over everyone around him. Anna felt increasingly connected to the boy, as if he were an extension of herself. Every time she looked at him, she felt an inexplicable familiarity, as if something inside her knew there was more to the story than met the eye. It was a strong intuition, but Anna had no proof to back up her suspicions. The bond between Anna and Henrique didn't go unnoticed by Lucas, who admired her more with each passing day. He could see how happy the boy was around her, and how Anna seemed to find in Henrique a reason to keep going. Lucas, too, felt lighter when he was with Anna. The time spent with her and his son was the closest he had come to happiness in years. Yet, they both remained within the boundaries of respect, knowing they couldn't act impulsively. However, Sofia grew increasingly uneasy with this closeness. She knew Lucas no longer loved her, but feared that the relationship between him and Anna would cross the line from friendship. Although she trusted in the plan she had devised to keep Lucas by her side, she couldn't control the feelings that were starting to blossom between them. The situation became a silent game of glances and unspoken words, where every move was carefully measured to avoid raising suspicions. Despite Sofia's efforts to maintain appearances, the relationship between her and Lucas became increasingly cold and distant. Lucas was physically present, but his mind and heart were elsewhere. He no longer had the patience for his wife's demands and barely hid his irritation when she tried to force an intimacy that no longer existed. The only things keeping him in the house were Henrique and, to a degree, Anna. Anna, meanwhile, began to realize that something about Henrique reminded her of the past she tried to forget. There was a gleam in the boy's eyes, a way he smiled, that took her back to memories long buried. Gradually, she started to piece together a puzzle she couldn't quite see, but it was still too early to draw conclusions. Her intuition, however, refused to be silenced. She knew something was off, but she couldn't yet pinpoint what. The relationship between Lucas and Anna continued to evolve, and though neither admitted it out loud, a deeper feeling was growing between them. It was silent and discreet, but undeniable. Lucas found himself increasingly drawn to Anna's simplicity and inner strength, while Anna, in turn, discovered in Lucas a security she had never felt before. Yet, both knew they couldn't act on these feelings. The barrier of Lucas's marriage still stood, and neither was willing to cross that line. As time passed, Anna's suspicions about Henrique intensified. She began to notice small details that seemed too familiar to be mere coincidences. The feeling that something was out of place gnawed at her. Slowly, Anna realized there was more to the story than Sofia had let on, and she decided it was time to investigate. Little did she know, she was about to uncover a truth that would change the lives of everyone in the house forever. Years passed, and the relationship between Anna, Lucas, and Henrique became increasingly close. While Sofia maintained her social appearances and enjoyed the status of being the perfect mother, Lucas found in his moments with Anna a kind of comfort he hadn't felt in a long time. Now 5 years old, Henrique grew more attached to Anna, as if there was an inexplicable connection between them. To the outside world, Anna was just the ideal employee, but to Lucas and Henrique, she was much more than that. Lucas deeply admired Anna's strength. He knew she carried immense pain from the loss of her child and the suffering that followed, but he never saw her complain. Instead, she always smiled when she was with Henrique, as if the boy was the light that pushed away her shadows. And perhaps he was. Lucas felt the emptiness in his heart slowly filling whenever he was with the two of them, allowing him, for a few moments, to forget the cold, hollow life he shared with Sofia. The exchanged glances between Anna and Lucas became more frequent. There was something deep growing between them, but neither dared to speak it aloud. They both knew that the feelings developing were dangerous. Lucas was still married, despite the unhappiness of his marriage, and Anna had her principles. Neither of them wanted to be the cause of a scandal. So they kept their feelings hidden in silence, trying to ignore the obvious truth that something special was blossoming between them. No matter how hard they tried to resist, the bond between them inevitably grew stronger. Anna started to realize that Lucas's presence made her feel secure in a way she hadn't felt in a long time. She admired his dedication as a father and felt that he was the only adult in the house who saw her as more than just a servant. Lucas, in turn, found in Anna a peace he hadn't experienced in years. She possessed a simplicity and strength that he had never found in Sofia. Afternoons spent with Henrique became the happiest moments of the day for the three of them. Playtime in the garden, storytelling on the porch, and shared laughter created a quietly perfect routine. Although Sofia was disturbed by the growing closeness between Lucas and Anna, she couldn't directly interfere. She knew that, even though Lucas was distant from her, he still maintained appearances in public, and for Sofia, maintaining appearances was what mattered most. However, Anna's suspicions regarding Henrique began to intensify. It was subtle but undeniable. The way he smiled, the way he wrinkled his nose when he was focused, everything about him screamed that there was something deeper connecting them. Anna started thinking about her own son, the one she never got to know, but who still lived in her memory as a constant source of pain. The more time passed, the more she felt that Henrique was too special to be just a coincidence. Anna began noticing small details: a birthmark on Henrique's leg that was identical to her ex-boyfriend's, physical traits that were too familiar to ignore. With every new observation, her intuition grew stronger. Something inside her told her that there was a hidden truth to this story, and she needed to uncover it. Even without concrete evidence, Anna started to suspect that Sofia had not been honest about Henrique's origins. Tension in the mansion started to rise. Lucas and Anna grew closer, while Sofia, although trying to maintain control, felt her marriage slipping through her fingers. Lucas no longer made an effort to pretend he was happy with her, and Sofia knew that if something didn't change soon, she would lose everything. Henrique, meanwhile, seemed to sense the complicated dynamics around him, but found comfort in the love he received from Anna and Lucas. One night, after an especially difficult day, Lucas and Anna found themselves in the kitchen together. He was frustrated after another argument with Sofia and was looking for some peace. Anna, as always, was there, quiet and welcoming. Before they realized it, their eyes met, and in that moment, the words they had never spoken felt unnecessary. There was a deep understanding between them, a connection that didn't need explanation. Lucas took a step forward, but before he could do anything, Anna looked away. "You know we can't," she whispered, her voice heavy with emotion. Lucas nodded, respecting the boundary they both knew they couldn't cross. "I know," he replied, though the pain in his eyes made it clear how much he wished things were different. With their feelings exposed but still unfulfilled, the situation between them became more complicated. Lucas increasingly felt that his happiness lay with Anna and Henrique, while Sofia was becoming little more than a memory of a love that no longer existed. Anna, for her part, struggled with her emotions, knowing that, as much as she loved Henrique and was beginning to care for Lucas, she couldn't be the reason for a family's downfall. Determined to understand her feelings and resolve her suspicions about Henrique, Anna decided to begin a discreet investigation. She knew something was out of place, and the only way to find peace was to discover the truth. Anna was about to embark on a path from which there would be no return, but she was willing to see it through to the end. Little did she know that uncovering the truth about Henrique would change not only her life, but the lives of everyone in the mansion forever. The days at the Montenegro mansion followed a seemingly tranquil routine, but inside Anna's heart, unease grew like a flame that could no longer be extinguished. She knew something was wrong with everything surrounding Henrique. Every time she looked at him, she felt a tightness in her chest, a sensation too familiar to ignore. The physical similarities, his small habits, and even the way he hugged her. All of it triggered buried memories and brought forth an intuition Anna could no longer suppress. The only way to find peace was by uncovering the truth. Anna decided to investigate carefully, without raising suspicions. She began discreetly searching the house for clues that could confirm or disprove her suspicions. She knew that any wrong move could jeopardize not only her job, but perhaps much more. She took advantage of moments when Sofia was out to search the mansion's office. With each drawer she opened, her heart raced, hoping to find something that would help her unravel the mystery. One morning, while organizing some documents, Anna found a folder hidden at the back of a drawer. Her heart pounded as she read the heading, Memorial Hospital, Confidential Records. With trembling hands, she opened the folder and found medical records that confirmed her suspicions. Henrique had been born on the exact same date she had given birth. The document contained details that matched her memories of that dark day. Her mind spun, emotions swirling, sadness, anger, relief, and fear. Anna couldn't hold back her tears. The confirmation that her son had never died and had been by her side all these years was overwhelming. The pain of loss was replaced by a deep sense of betrayal that was hard to describe. She felt robbed, deceived, and suddenly, every moment she had spent in the Montenegro house seemed like a lie. But there was also relief. Her son was alive. Henrique was hers, and nothing in the world could change that. Anna knew she needed to act carefully. She couldn't confront Sofia without solid evidence. She needed more than just these documents to expose her. She decided to visit the hospital for more answers and managed to find a nurse who remembered the case. The woman, hesitant at first, eventually confessed that she had been forced to keep the secret under threat and for money. The nurse confirmed that Sofia had faked the birth and that Henrique was, indeed, Anna's son. With the evidence in hand, Anna returned to the mansion determined to reveal the truth. She felt she could no longer hide what she knew, even if it meant facing an emotional storm. She had to tell Lucas everything and demand justice. That night, when Lucas came home, Anna asked to speak with him privately. Her heart was racing, but she knew there was no turning back. "I've discovered something that changes everything," she said, her voice trembling. Lucas, surprised and concerned, listened in silence as Anna explained the truth about Henrique. At first, Lucas seemed incredulous. It was hard to process the idea that the child he loved wasn't biologically Sofia's, and worse, that his wife had been capable of such a cruel act. However, as Anna showed him the documents and explained every detail, his expression shifted from disbelief to shock, and finally to anger. "Sofia lied to me all this time?" he asked, more to himself than to Anna. The weight of betrayal hit him hard. The tension in the air was palpable when Sofia arrived home. Seeing Lucas's expression and Anna's presence, she immediately knew something was wrong. "What's going on?" she asked, trying to maintain her composure. Lucas didn't waste any time. "We know everything, Sofia," he said coldly. "You lied. Henrique was never yours. He's Anna's son." Sofia tried to defend herself, claiming she did everything out of love, that she only wanted to save their marriage and give the boy a good life. But Lucas was beyond forgiveness. "You destroyed Anna's life and lied to me. This isn't love, it's selfishness," he declared as Sofia attempted to argue in vain. Anna remained silent while Lucas and Sofia argued. The words of anger and pain echoed through the room, but the presence of Henrique in the house made it clear to everyone that they had to keep calm. It was only a matter of time before the whole truth came out. And when it did, nothing would ever be the same again. The argument ended when Lucas, filled with disgust and hurt, ordered Sofia to leave the house. "We're done," he said firmly, making it clear that the marriage was over. Stunned and out of options, Sofia realized she had lost everything. Without Lucas's support and with the evidence Anna had gathered, Sofia knew she couldn't escape the consequences of her actions. That night, as Sofia packed her things and prepared to leave the mansion, Lucas and Anna talked at length. There was much to resolve, but one thing was clear. Henrique needed to know the truth, and they had to ensure he felt loved and protected during the transition. Anna, though happy to have finally found her son, knew it wouldn't be easy to rebuild life after so many lies. But as she looked at Lucas and Henrique, she felt that she had the two most important people in her life by her side. And that was all that mattered. Tension in the Montenegro mansion reached its peak after the confrontation between Lucas and Sofia. The lies that had held the family together for so long had finally been exposed, and Sofia was forced to leave the house, bearing the weight of her choices. Now, Lucas and Anna faced a new challenge, telling Henrique the truth, a boy who had unknowingly lived amid a web of deceit. The next morning, Lucas and Anna sat with Henrique in the garden. The boy played innocently, unaware that his life was about to change forever. With her heart racing, Anna held Henrique's hands and softly called his name. "Henrique, there's something very important we need to tell you," she began, trying to keep her voice steady. Curious, the boy stopped playing and looked at them with innocent eyes. Lucas continued, "Mommy Sofia, she isn't your real mother. Anna is. She's your real mom, Henrique." The boy furrowed his brow in confusion. "You're my mommy?" He looked at Anna, trying to understand. Anna smiled through her teary eyes. "Yes, my love. I am your mommy, and I've always loved you, even before I knew you were my son." Henrique looked to Lucas for reassurance. "And you, Daddy?" Lucas nodded, holding his son's hand. "Yes, son, we're both here for you, and nothing will change how much we love you." Henrique was silent for a few moments, absorbing the information. Then he threw himself into Anna's arms as if the truth was just another detail. "I love you, Mommy," he said, and in that moment, Anna knew everything had been worth it. With Sofia out of the house and the truth revealed, Anna, Lucas, and Henrique began rebuilding their lives. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they were determined to face everything together. Anna left her painful past behind and embraced her new role as a mother, while Lucas found in Anna and Henrique the family he had always dreamed of but never had with Sofia. Meanwhile, Sofia faced the consequences of her actions. With the evidence gathered by Anna and the nurse's confession, she was charged with forgery and child abduction. The trial was swift and unforgiving. Sofia tried to justify her actions, claiming that everything she did was out of love and to protect her marriage, but the court was unmoved. She was sentenced to several years in prison, and the society that once admired her turned its back on her. Lucas watched the entire process from afar, showing no intention of intervening on Sofia's behalf. He knew it was necessary for her to pay for her crimes, not only for Anna's sake, but also so they could all move forward without more lies. With Sofia out of the picture, Lucas and Anna were finally able to live what once seemed impossible. Their friendship blossomed into a genuine loving relationship, and Henrique, now aware of his true origins, grew up surrounded by the love and security he always deserved. As the months passed, Anna and Lucas decided to make their union official. The wedding was simple and intimate, just as they had wanted. It was more a celebration of what they had built together than a need for formality. Henrique, now with both parents by his side, joyfully participated in the ceremony with the innocence of a child who, despite everything, had always known what it was to be loved. Time healed the wounds, and life finally found its course. Anna, Lucas, and Henrique formed a united, strong, and happy family. The pain of the past transformed into lessons learned, and the lies that almost destroyed their lives gave way to truth and love. They knew the road ahead might still have challenges, but together they were ready to face whatever came their way. And so, after so many ups and downs, Anna finally found her place in the world, beside her son and the man she loved. She knew that nothing could erase the past, but she also knew the future was theirs to build. And that was all that mattered. With Sofia in prison and the truth finally out, the lives of Anna, Lucas, and Henrique began to take shape. However, even with Sofia gone, the road wasn't immediately easy. There were many emotions to be processed and a new routine to be established. Now officially together, Lucas and Anna faced the challenging task of adapting to their new family dynamic. Henrique, although having accepted Anna as his true mother, still had moments of confusion, trying to understand the immense changes his life had undergone. Lucas, for his part, wrestled with guilt. Though he knew Sofia was responsible for the deception, he felt guilty for not realizing the truth sooner. He knew he could have protected Anna and their son if he had been more aware. Anna, however, was determined to leave the past behind. She understood that Lucas had also been a victim of Sofia's lies and knew that holding on to resentment wouldn't help them build the new life they were now embarking on together. With patience and love, Anna and Lucas began creating a new routine. Their mornings were filled with the sound of Henrique's laughter and playful moments, and the boy seemed happier and more secure with each passing day. Lucas was more present than ever, actively involved in parenting and fully committed to building a life with Anna. While the first few months were challenging, they found strength in their unity. Each hurdle they faced together only reinforced the love they had for one another. However, the society that once praised Sofia began to question the speed at which Lucas and Anna had come together. Some relatives and friends criticized their relationship, hinting that Anna had taken advantage of the situation to win Lucas over. But no malicious comments shook their determination. Lucas and Anna knew that what they had was real and were resolved not to let others' judgments interfere with their happiness. Henrique, meanwhile, continued to thrive in a home filled with love. He found in Anna not only a mother, but also a friend and confidant. Lucas and Anna made it their mission to create a warm and safe environment where Henrique could truly be himself, free from the weight of the lies that had marked the beginning of his life. Every day, their bond as a family grew stronger, and their new routine began to solidify. Yet, a final shadow from the past appeared unexpectedly. Sofia, who had remained silent in prison until then, managed to send a letter to Lucas. In it, she claimed to be remorseful for her actions and begged for forgiveness, stating that she had acted out of desperation and fear of losing her family. The letter stirred conflicting emotions in both Lucas and Anna. As much as they wanted to leave the past behind, Sofia's presence, even from a distance, still had the power to unsettle them. Lucas decided he would not respond to the letter. "Some things need to stay in the past," he said to Anna, holding her hand firmly. Anna agreed. They had built a new life together and didn't want the shadow of Sofia to continue haunting them. So they chose to move forward, focusing on what truly mattered, the love and happiness they now shared as a family. And so, with the past finally left behind, Anna, Lucas, and Henrique were able to look toward the future with hope. They knew that, regardless of the challenges that might still come their way, nothing could separate them. The true love that bound them was stronger than any lie or obstacle. Their future was theirs to build, and they were ready to face it together. With the past finally behind them, Anna, Lucas, and Henrique embraced the new chapter that lay before them. The Montenegro mansion, once a place of pain and lies, was transformed into a home filled with love and hope. Every day, simple moments became precious. The smell of breakfast prepared by Anna, the sound of Henrique's laughter echoing through the house, and the knowing glances shared between Anna and Lucas. The house, once cold and distant, now radiated warmth, filled with truth and unity. Anna embraced her role as a mother with pride. She knew the journey had been difficult, but she could now fully enjoy the joy of watching her son grow, surrounded by love. Henrique blossomed each day. With Lucas and Anna by his side, he found the security he needed to explore the world and be himself. More than anything, Henrique felt truly loved, a feeling no lie could ever replace. He knew that both his mother and father would always be there for him. As their new routine settled, Lucas and Anna realized it was time to fully rebuild their lives. They knew they couldn't continue living in the same house that had witnessed so much pain and deception. They decided to sell the mansion and start fresh in a new home, one they chose together, where they could create new memories free from the shadows of the past. The move was not easy, but it brought immense relief. It felt as though by leaving the house behind, they were also closing the final chapter of a painful story. Their new home was simple but full of meaning. Every detail was carefully chosen by Anna and Lucas, with thoughts of the future they wanted to build together. The garden, where Henrique now ran and played freely, became the heart of the house. Under the sun, he seemed happier than ever. As Anna and Lucas watched him run and laugh, they knew that all the hardships they had faced were worth it. The future was bright, and they were ready to embrace it fully. Over time, Anna and Lucas realized that the change was not only physical. They themselves had changed. The love between them, once quiet and restrained, now blossomed without fear. Lucas allowed himself to love fully for the first time, and Anna found in him the partner she had always dreamed of. Each day with Lucas was proof that true love isn't built quickly, but with respect, patience, and deep connection. The bond with Henrique also grew deeper each day. The child who had once been entangled in lies now lived surrounded by truth and care. Anna and Lucas worked hard to create an environment where Henrique could grow up knowing he was loved unconditionally. His questions about the past began to fade, and each day he felt more secure in his new reality. He knew that no matter what had happened before, his family was all he needed. With Sofia definitively out of their lives, Anna and Lucas decided to make their union official in an intimate ceremony. They didn't need a grand event, just a moment to celebrate the love that had united them and to mark the beginning of a new phase. Henrique proudly carried the rings, smiling from ear to ear, happy to be part of such a special moment. The ceremony, held in the garden of their new home, was simple but filled with emotion. Close friends and family gathered to celebrate a love that, despite everything, had blossomed against all odds. Life moved forward, and Anna and Lucas dedicated themselves to building a future that was solid and meaningful. Every victory was celebrated with gratitude, and every challenge was faced with courage and unity. Henrique grew up happy, and as the days passed, the bond between him, Anna, and Lucas strengthened. They knew they couldn't erase the past, but they also knew it didn't define who they were. What mattered was the present they were building together and the future they were determined to achieve. Years passed, and the Montenegro family, now free from the lies that had once imprisoned them, became a symbol of resilience and true love. Anna and Lucas's story was not only about pain and loss, but also about the power of starting over and finding happiness in the most unexpected circumstances. They learned that true love is not perfect, but it is real. And, above all, they understood that the truth, no matter how hard, is always the right path. With Lucas and Henrique by her side, Anna had finally found the home she had always sought. It wasn't just a house, it was a place where love and truth prevailed. And as she looked toward the future, she knew that nothing could shake the family they had built together.